So, good morning. Welcome to Tom from Bigwave Media. Tom, how are you today?
Yeah, good. Thanks, David. How are you?
Yeah, really good. Thank you, mate. It's the sun's shining, which I think is really helping around physical activity and stuff like that. And it always makes you feel good when the sun's shining, doesn't it? So, yeah. So today, Tom, we are here talking about the post-lockdown recovery survey that we've done. And obviously, you've played a really big role in helping us create and design it, but also having a look at the data through the lens of marketing and communication. So what I want to know from you is, based on what you've seen on the report, so what do you think that operators could do with the data and insight that we've created?
I think it's been really useful, I guess, firstly, with the amount of people that have physically done it across a big sector has helped, obviously, to build that confidence. And obviously, when I was looking at it, thinking, I wonder what the results will look like. But I think overall, it's quite a bit of a view for optimism, because some of the statistics are showing that people are obviously missing the facilities. We know what they were doing before. And obviously the big elements like gym, group exercise, etc., are probably going to be the first thing that people open up to when we do get the go ahead. But also things like maybe a smaller area, but in terms of social distancing, things like that are obviously going to be things that people can probably do a lot more than they could have. Obviously, swimming, for instance, I think is going to be following on. But overall, I think there is optimism there that the appetite is going to be there for people in the future.
No, absolutely. So any of the particular sort of insights that you would draw on, was there any numbers in there that you thought actually that resonates with me, or actually that's a surprise?
I think the fact that over half of people probably value the service more than they maybe did before is quite important. Everybody's got their own kind of value proposition that they're trying to get across, but I guess from our core client base, generally leisure trusts and local authorities, obviously being embedded in that community, sharing that message so that people they value the service, or the fact that there is health and wellbeing solutions out there. I think almost on the USPs that all of these places have got to build on people's physical and mental well-being as well. It's not just about being a gym anymore. It's going to be such a big around probably the wider family. So I think we've noticed a lot more people are probably being active with their families that they probably never were before. And I've had my kids out running and all sorts. I'm sure they probably appreciate it, but just trying to get that whole family unit back together and being active.
Yeah, absolutely. It almost seems to be a common thread through my conversations, is we somehow always end up talking about my zone points and my, my movement points and things like that. And, that my zone thing has been really fascinating from a way of joining people together and communicating with people, and obviously doing some measurement for my activity when I haven't been in the gym and things like that. So
definitely. I've been measuring that. Like even my 11-year-old, he keeps saying, "Well, can I have a MyZone box?" When I've had him out running, so how many MEPs did you get? Because he sits there and he always looks over my shoulder on my phone. But interesting. It's another one of those things that's probably been out there with all the virtual classes, etc., that just have helped to keep people going, because it is different. But I think all those kind of things such as MyZone have probably really come into their own a bit more, even further.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was really interested to hear you start talking about the value propositions and linking that to the value question that we put into the report about how much people would value their facilities. So how can organisations try maybe shape their value propositions in order to reflect what customers are saying is important to them and what customers feel about their organisations?
Yeah, I guess it's looking at what people were probably doing before, understanding what will happen in the future, and then seeing where we need to adapt as well, just to try and work out actually how can we get everybody back in. I guess not focusing maybe on the new sales to start with. I'm sure some will need to, but I think it's going to be quite key to communicate to everybody that's existing members to make sure that they fully understand what they can do, B, that they're safe and confident to come back into the centres. But then within that, I think just spreading the message of safety first, I guess, so that people understand what they are able to do. But I think it's almost making sure that people are fully aware that it's the right time to come back as well. I think there's going to be a lot of questions to answer, but I think as well we can probably learn from a lot of other industries, because leisure is going to be back at the back end of it, in terms of who we can probably understand what things have worked, what hasn't as well. And I guess we're making sure that people fully appreciate that it's not just about fitness, it's about the wider aims of what you can achieve by taking part in these facilities, because there are obviously the libraries may well open at the same time as the leisure centres. Obviously again are going to be slightly later, so I guess it's getting people back into their habits but at the right time as well. And I think just sharing is message. I think community is a big word that's come out of it as well, so trying to get people back together in a safe environment will be good for everybody as well to help build their confidence.
Absolutely. Interestingly, you used the term safe first, whereas I'm starting to think more about healthy first. So actually, I think the survey showed that lots of people are looking forward to coming back, but it's tinged with making sure that this is a healthy environment for me, not because of my exercise, but the fact that it's clean, that social distancing has been considered, that there is less risk of me contracting something. And there's a whole lot of stuff. I know you've done some work with Right Directions around this signage and things like that. Can you just give us a quick insight into the stuff that you're doing to try and help operators get the health message across?
Yeah, I guess it's that whole customer journey aspect, and a lot of it comes back to your signage. I think that there's a lot of things out there already, like say your supermarkets have got kind of customer journeys in place, but I think what we've said is almost what we want to do is make you comfortable as you're coming through. So you must almost before you get through the doors, maybe looking at video of the customer journey. Obviously the staff will have training, I think, in terms of staff are going to have to be a lot more engaging than maybe they have been in the past, just to build that confidence. But then when you walk through the door, you probably don't want a red and a black sign up or a yellow danger sign. I think making it comfortable so that you fully understand before you walk in the door what your expectations are, but then when you walk in the door that you see a sign, you see your brand in place, so what you've bought into before is still there. You're fully expecting that you're going to have to follow a process, because we all do everywhere we go. There's a rule in place, but I think making it a comfortable environment, and working with Right Directions, obviously making sure it's the right terminology as well, instead of just a sign saying or anything like that, actually saying the right thing at the right time so that people understand what they're doing. And I guess just that customer, because we're all conscious we need to try and be 2 meters away. Leisure centres, brand new ones, obviously a lot bigger than some of the older facilities. Some of these corridors probably aren't 2 meters, so just that flow of people might have to enter and exit in a different building, a different door. Sorry, I think just building that confidence level without scaring people, so it almost becomes part of their routine, because it's not going to be here for a couple of months and then say, oh, it's all right, let's go back to normal. So I think just trying to almost build it into the brand and the messaging so that it forms part of day to day, really.
I think that's really interesting, because I think that's really reinforced the word healthy rather than safety, because safety, you would go down the route of the right colours for a hazard sign, the right shape for a hazard sign. But it's really interesting to think that actually using some of the insight that we've created about people's comfort levels and about what they value, and trying to reflect our communication with them, using those principles we've heard that customers have told us. So we talked about signage and stuff like that, and you talked about, almost how the team have got to think about empathy and the way they interact with customers and things like that. What marketing activity could we consider in order to give people comfort and confidence that we're doing all we can to keep them healthy?
I think, like I say, I mentioned about potentially video in terms of digitally getting the message across before we start. So I think that whole communication piece in the first instance to existing members, so they're obviously going to be the first for the opportunity to come in. I think some of those people may not be able to come in, so there could be space for new members if needs to be. But I think starting with making sure we're regularly communicating. I guess 3-4 weeks ago we didn't really know where we are. I think everybody's aiming up to around about the same dates at the moment. So I think communicating to the existing members, having that consistent message and making people feel very aware that we're on this. We're not going to have a 3-day notice of garden centres opening and go, right, we're open now. It's in place. We're going to be able to say, right, we are opening. We might not open on the 4th of July straight away, because I think people are gearing up to open correctly, to make sure that it's not we can open. I think just communicating digital channels to start with, and some of that could well be if there are some vulnerable groups who are now allowed out. I know that some of the trusts we've worked with have been making lots of phone calls as well. So I think not just making it social media campaigns, etc. I think actually physically talking to people is going to help as well, just to build that level of confidence. So if we've phoned a particular group before just to check in on them. Almost the next stage is, right, okay, it's now ready. We are now ready to get you back into whatever your activity may have been.
Right.
And then once we go over that, I think then that's where we can probably start to communicate more externally. But I think trying to have a consistent message through your existing member comms and then on to whatever new potential sales avenues we try. I think having a message that flows through, because you've got the existing members hopefully back in, and they can then become almost testimonials and case studies to say, actually, it's back and I love being back. It's going to be a different way of being, having a book to go to the gym, or I think understanding logistically how we can operate is going to be quite key, and making sure it's very simple for the customer as well, that you know what you can do and when you can do, because you're not just going to be able to turn up to the gym at 10 o'clock on a Monday and get in, are you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think one of the benefits of the move to digital has actually got customers interacting with us in a different way. So Facebook likes have gone through the roof, you know, people are following Instagram and things like that. So we do have that ability to use things like this, the video. I've never used this, you know, video. The first video I created was to say, I'm really sorry, I'm postponing active back on whenever it was in March. You know, it was really quite alien for me. But actually, as you grow into it, as you understand it a little bit better, as you see the value of it, you get some really good information across in a very short space of time. And I think that's going to be important from a communication point of view.
Yeah, I think definitely. So you can get the messages out there straight away. And we've seen obviously a big push on the virtual sides of fitness, which again, there's going to be a place for that. I think to start with, it was almost like this will be the new norm. I think it's now part of the mix. I think looking at the statistics that you had, I don't think it's the be all and end all, but I think a lot of clients are putting in a digital solution because it's potentially an extra revenue stream that wasn't there before. And there are members that are going to be very worried about coming back or not allowed to come back. So I think having that as part of the mix as well is going to be quite important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's probably a real point in which to end, because one of the questions does talk about how likely people to rejoin or join something that's got an online membership as part of the package. But I don't want to give too much away. I want people to have a look at the full report, which of course we'll be putting out through our channels on a number of occasions in a number of places. But I just want to say thank you so much to you guys at Bigwave, because you and Simon have been absolutely brilliant in supporting us, in helping us, but in looking through that different lens at our content and our insight to make sure there's true value for operators. So Tom, I'm going to say thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I'll see you soon.
Cool. Take care, David. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.